10 unexpected ways Sigma males react when they're angry. Modern Stoicism teaches us that anger is a universal emotion, but how we handle it defines who we are. While alpha males are known for their explosive reactions, Sigma males are a whole different story. Quiet, calculated and reserved, they rarely show their emotions, making their responses all the more unpredictable. On the surface, they may seem calm, but beneath that cool exterior, there's always something brewing. Sigma males aren't easily provoked, but when they do get angry, the results can be surprising and even a little dangerous. You can't predict how they'll react, and that mystery is what sets them apart. Curious about how these lone wolves handle their rage? Here are 10 unexpected ways Sigma males respond when they're angry. 1. They know when it's time to walk away. Sigma males have mastered the art of knowing when to walk away from a conflict, and this trait sets them apart from those who are easily swept up by their emotions. Not every problem needs an immediate solution, and Sigma males understand that sometimes the best course of action is to take a step back. This allows them to cool off and approach the issue with a clearer perspective. This calculated detachment is not a sign of weakness, but of immense power and self-control. By choosing when to engage and when to withdraw, they position themselves in a place of calm authority, leaving others puzzled by their unexpected restraint. Instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, they pause, leaving the other person to wonder why they didn't respond as expected. This level of emotional intelligence gives Sigma males an edge. They are never controlled by their anger or external circumstances. Instead, they remain masters of their own reactions. Walking away doesn't mean avoiding the problem or running from responsibility. Sigma males know that engaging in a cycle of anger and conflict is often more harmful than helpful. This mindset is a testament to their wisdom and maturity. They recognize when stepping back is the healthiest choice, not only for themselves, but for everyone involved. When a Sigma male walks away, it's not an act of surrender, but an intentional decision to prioritize their mental and emotional well-being over futile arguments. In today's fast-paced world where people are quick to argue or defend their egos, this ability to retreat calmly is rare and highly valuable. It reflects a deeper understanding that some battles are not worth fighting and that true strength often lies in restraint. This approach reminds me of a common scenario in modern life. Think about a time when a disagreement at work or at home became heated and you felt the urge to fire back instantly. Instead of reacting, you took a moment to pause, walked away from the situation, and returned with a calmer mind. Sigma males embody this principle. They teach us that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is choose silence and distance rather than engage in destructive behavior. Watching a Sigma male walk away from a heated argument is like witnessing a masterclass in emotional maturity. It's not about winning or losing, but about maintaining inner peace and control. As Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is more fitting for a man to laugh at life than to lament over it." Sigma males embrace this attitude by not allowing their emotions to dictate their actions. They understand that walking away doesn't mean they've given up. Rather, they've chosen to protect their peace, which is far more valuable than winning any argument. This kind of behavior may confuse or frustrate others in the moment, but in the long run, it leaves a lasting impression of strength and control. 2. They become brutally honest and direct. When Sigma males get angry, their usual reserved and calm demeanor can shift dramatically into brutal honesty and directness, which often catches people off guard. Normally, they are known for being thoughtful and strategic in their interactions, preferring to observe rather than speak. However, when they've been pushed to their limit, they stop holding back and say exactly what's on their mind. This kind of blunt communication can be shocking, even intimidating, because it contrasts sharply with their typical behavior. But this isn't just about letting off steam, it's about regaining control of a situation that has spiraled out of their hands. Sigma males are incredibly observant, often noticing details others miss. So when they finally speak up, you can bet they've been keeping track of everything that's bothered them. When they've had enough, all those observations come pouring out in a no-nonsense, no-filter way. This shift in communication can feel like a personal attack to those on the receiving end, but that's rarely the Sigma male's intention. They aren't being cruel, they simply value honesty over sugarcoating, especially in moments of frustration. For them, the truth needs to be said, and in their view, it's better to be straightforward than to leave things unsaid. While this kind of directness can be uncomfortable for some, others appreciate it as a breath of fresh air, especially in a world where people often skirt around tough conversations. Have you ever been in a situation where someone held back their true feelings until everything spilled out at once? It's overwhelming, isn't it? That's the power of a Sigma's brutal honesty. It leaves no room for confusion or misinterpretation. In today's fast-paced world, where much of our communication is filtered through screens and social norms, we're not always used to hearing things as they are. But Sigma males don't waste time on half-truths or vague hints. When they're upset, they address the problem head-on, forcing others to confront the reality of the situation. This approach may make people uncomfortable, but discomfort often leads to growth. Sometimes we need that brutal honesty to wake us up and help us see things we've been avoiding. Ultimately, the lesson here is that honesty, even when harsh, can be a powerful tool for both communication and self-awareness. Sigma males teach us that sometimes the best way to handle anger isn't to explode or retreat. It's to be direct and clear. 3. They become a force to be reckoned. With Sigma males are often viewed as calm and collected, but when they are truly angered, they become a force to be reckoned with. Unlike those who react impulsively or resort to outright aggression, Sigma males use their intelligence and strategic thinking to navigate conflict with precision. In times of anger, they channel their focus into a clear, determined plan of action, often thinking several steps ahead. Their approach is deliberate and calculated, allowing them to remain one step ahead of those who cross their path. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This idea resonates deeply with Sigma males, who prefer to rise above petty quarrels by controlling their responses with thoughtfulness and intent. While others might explode in rage, they harness their emotions as fuel for strategic maneuvers. Their ability to stay calm under pressure, despite how intense the situation may become, sets Sigma males apart from the rest. They don't seek to dominate through brute force. Rather, they quietly and effectively find ways to achieve their goals, even if that means operating behind the scenes. When their anger is triggered, they become laser-focused, analyzing the situation from every angle to figure out the best way forward. Think of a time when someone pushed you to your breaking point, but instead of reacting with immediate anger, you stepped back, assessed the situation, and waited for the right moment to act. That's the essence of how Sigma males approach conflict. They don't rush into confrontation, but when they do decide to act, their impact is felt. You could say that Sigma males are akin to silent assassins in the way they handle conflict, moving quietly, always thinking and strategizing, and ready to make their move when the timing is just right. However, this doesn't mean that they are vengeful or destructive. On the contrary, they understand that acting with precision and wisdom often yields better results than explosive reactions. This trait reflects the Stoic mindset of focusing on what can be controlled and letting go of unnecessary emotional outbursts. Epicurus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Sigma males embody this wisdom, by turning their anger into a calculated response rather than a wild, uncontrollable force. In today's world, where quick tempers and impulsive reactions are all too common, the Sigma male's approach offers a valuable lesson in patience and restraint. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where someone tested your limits, and instead of reacting immediately, you took the time to craft a thoughtful response? That kind of reaction isn't about weakness, it's about strength and control. Sigma males remind us that the quietest person in the room is often the one who understands the most and holds the most power. While they may seem aloof or distant, it's simply because they are always thinking, always planning, and always aware of their surroundings. They are not to be underestimated. This strategic mindset might seem intimidating, especially if you've ever been on the receiving end of a Sigma male's calculated response. But this behavior isn't about manipulation or causing harm. It's about achieving their goals with the least amount of unnecessary conflict. In many ways, Sigma males embody the modern-day warrior's mindset. They pick their battles wisely, avoid unnecessary confrontation, and strike when the time is right. Their approach teaches us that anger doesn't have to be destructive. It can be transformed into a powerful tool for achieving what truly matters. It's not about outmuscling others, but outsmarting them. As Sun Tzu famously said, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Sigma males live by this principle, knowing that true strength lies in the ability to control one's emotions and use them strategically. So, what can we learn from this Stoic approach to anger? First, never underestimate the power of patience. In a world that often encourages immediate reactions and impulsive decisions, taking the time to think before acting can set you apart. Second, recognize that silence and restraint are not signs of weakness, but indicators of emotional intelligence and self-mastery. Finally, remember that true power doesn't come from how loudly you react, but from how effectively you can maintain control. The next time you find yourself in a heated situation, consider the Sigma male's approach. Pause, plan, and then act with purpose. By doing so, you'll not only maintain your composure, but likely come out of the situation stronger and more successful. Anger is not something to fear or suppress, but something to use wisely. By thinking strategically and acting with restraint, you can turn even the most challenging situations into opportunities for growth and success. Just like the Sigma male, you'll become a force to be reckoned with. Quiet, determined, and always in control of your own destiny. They turn silence into their secret weapon. When people get angry, they often lash out, yell, or react impulsively. Sigma males, however, take a different approach. One of their most unexpected tactics is turning silence into their secret weapon. Instead of engaging in heated arguments or raising their voices, they step back and let the quiet do the talking. Imagine a scenario where most people would be boiling over with frustration. The Sigma male remains calm and controlled, allowing their counterpart to sit with the discomfort. This silence can be more unsettling than any angry outburst, forcing the other person to question their behavior and stirring up a range of emotions from confusion to frustration. In that moment of silence, the Sigma male is using emotional intelligence to manage both their anger and the situation. They recognize that sometimes saying nothing is far more impactful than saying something regrettable. This isn't about being passive-aggressive, it's about practicing powerful restraint. By withholding their words, they create an atmosphere of mystery and tension. In our modern, noise-filled world, especially on social media, silence stands out. It leaves people curious and even uneasy, trying to figure out what's happening in the mind of someone who remains calm in the face of conflict. Have you ever found yourself in an argument where the other person suddenly goes quiet? It's disorienting, isn't it? That's the Sigma male strategy in action. They maintain control not by overpowering with words, but by giving the other person time to reflect on their actions. In the hustle and bustle of life, where emotions can run high, there's a lesson in this. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. By choosing silence, you give yourself the opportunity to calm down and reassess the situation, while also sending a strong message without uttering a single word. In the end, the lesson is simple. Real power doesn't always come from speaking up. Sometimes it's found in restraint and quiet strength. As the saying goes, still waters run deep. In the mind of a Sigma male, that stillness is a sign of strength, not weakness. How can you use silence in your own life to create balance, control, and shift the dynamics in a conversation or argument? Remember, silence isn't just an absence, it's a calculated move. If you're still here, you're already on the path to mastering your reactions. Leave a comment saying, "Power in silence," to show you're ready to harness the calm strength of a Sigma. Don't miss what's coming next. More insights await. 6. They forgive, but you can be sure they never forget. Sigma males are unique when it comes to handling anger, especially when it involves forgiveness. Even when deeply hurt or angry, they have an impressive ability to let go of grudges. Their approach to forgiveness isn't about being weak or letting others off the hook easily, but about finding peace of mind while maintaining their dignity. After all, they understand that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Forgiveness for Sigma males is more about freeing themselves from the emotional baggage of resentment rather than allowing others to continue wronging them. They don't let anger fester, but that doesn't mean they forget what happened or ignore the lessons learned from the experience. This mindset is practical and calculated. Sigma males believe that true power comes from knowing how to forgive, but they are also cautious. They'll forgive you for a mistake, but they won't forget it. Their memories serve as a protective mechanism, ensuring they don't fall into the same trap twice. Think of it as a form of emotional armor. They are willing to give someone a second chance, but not a third. They operate on the principle that people can change, but they won't allow themselves to be taken advantage of repeatedly. This sense of balance between forgiveness and caution is key to their emotional resilience. They have no interest in staying trapped in the past or dwelling on mistakes, but their sharp memory ensures they are prepared should the same situation arise again. This way of thinking resonates in modern life, especially as we age and accumulate more experiences, both good and bad. Many men over 40 can relate to the idea of having been wronged in the past, whether in relationships, business, or friendships. As we mature, we learn that holding on to grudges takes a heavy toll on our mental and emotional well-being. Sigma males understand this better than most. They know that forgiveness brings peace, while their memories serve as valuable tools for personal growth and self-protection. They're not interested in petty revenge or staying angry just to prove a point. Instead, they're focused on moving forward with clarity, always remembering the lessons learned from those who've hurt them. In today's world, where trust is hard-earned and easily broken, Sigma males exemplify the Stoic principle of emotional control. Their ability to forgive without forgetting is a way to maintain personal integrity while guarding against future harm. In business, for example, think of a time when a colleague or partner let you down. It's easy to cut ties immediately, but a Sigma male might take a different route. He'll forgive the mistake, understand the context, but store that experience in his mental archive, making sure it doesn't happen again. This measured approach is not about being cynical or mistrustful. It's about being smart. ensuring that while they extend a hand of forgiveness, they remain vigilant to protect themselves from further harm. Sigma males embody the wisdom of another Stoic thought from Seneca. To err is human, but to persist in error is diabolical. This is why they believe in giving someone a second chance. Everyone makes mistakes, but they also believe that repeating the same error is a conscious choice, and they are not willing to let others hurt them repeatedly. Their forgiveness is rooted in understanding, but their boundaries are firm. Once a line has been crossed more than once, the door is shut and it stays shut. This kind of firm but fair approach allows Sigma males to live with a clear conscience. They are able to move on without feeling weighed down by bitterness, but they remain ever aware of who in their lives has proven themselves untrustworthy. This attitude towards forgiveness is something we can all learn from. How many times have you held on to anger, only to realize it's causing more harm to you than to the person who wronged you? Sigma males remind us that forgiveness is a form of self-care. It allows us to release the negative emotions that can cloud our judgment and prevent us from moving forward. But at the same time, they teach us that forgiveness doesn't mean erasing the past. It's about acknowledging the lesson, keeping it close, and ensuring that it guides future decisions. Forgive, but never forget. We are all bound to make mistakes, and understanding that is the foundation of true emotional maturity. However, protecting yourself from those who repeatedly show a lack of respect or care is just as important. Sigma males master this balance. They move on, but they never let their guard down when someone has proven themselves to be unreliable. In the end, forgiveness is a path to freedom, but memory is the shield that keeps us from being hurt again. So the next time you find yourself in a situation where someone seeks your forgiveness, ask yourself, can I forgive without forgetting? How can I move forward without letting this happen again? By learning to forgive while keeping the lessons of the past close at hand, you'll navigate life with more wisdom and peace. 7. They never allow their ego to steal the spotlight. Next, they never let their ego take control or steal the spotlight, even when emotions are intense. They possess a level of self-awareness that helps them avoid letting temporary feelings dictate their actions. Instead of giving in to pride or worrying about how they'll be perceived, Sigma males focus on what truly matters, staying true to themselves and their principles. They would rather be seen as vulnerable or wrong than allow their ego to push them into a defensive stance just for the sake of saving face. This isn't about appearing perfect. It's about making sure their actions align with their values, no matter how heated the situation becomes. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us that the best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. For Sigmas, this wisdom means staying grounded in honesty and authenticity, especially when anger tries to pull them in the direction of ego-driven behavior. In life, unchecked anger can inflate the ego and create unnecessary conflict. Sigmas are keenly aware of this, so they work to separate valid frustrations from feelings driven by wounded pride. Think about it. How often have you seen people let their ego turn a small issue into a major confrontation? It's easy to let anger drive us to make the situation about winning or proving a point, but Sigma males understand the futility of this. They know that when ego takes over, it clouds judgment and prevents meaningful solutions from emerging. Instead of escalating the situation with dramatic displays or outbursts, Sigmas keep their emotions in check. They refuse to create scenes that boost their ego at the expense of others, because they realize that doing so only distracts from the real issue and diminishes their credibility in the long run. Their humility guides them through anger, allowing them to channel that energy toward effective communication and problem-solving. In modern life, where we often see anger used as a means to assert dominance or control, the Sigma male's approach stands out. Rather than letting anger become an ego-driven performance, they prioritize clear, honest communication. This doesn't mean they don't feel their anger strongly. It just means they're not interested in using it to feed their pride or inflate their sense of self-importance. Take a scenario where a disagreement arises at work or within a personal relationship. Many people might lash out, seeking to be right or to come out on top. But a Sigma male would pause and consider whether their response is motivated by ego or by the actual issue at hand. They're not looking to impress or dominate. They're looking for real solutions. The lesson here is clear. True strength lies in humility, not in putting on a show or letting ego dominate the conversation. Sigmas show us that maintaining control over our emotions and staying focused on solutions, rather than letting anger fuel our pride, is the key to navigating conflict with integrity. In doing so, we not only preserve our relationships, but also maintain our sense of self-respect. In the end, it's not about being right or winning. It's about staying true to yourself and your values, even when the heat of anger tries to pull you off course. 8. They retreat into their own world and shut people out. When Sigma males get angry, they often retreat into their own world, shutting people out as they process their emotions privately. This isn't because they want to create distance out of spite, but because they need time and space to reflect on what has happened. Sigma males avoid unnecessary conflict and negative energy whenever possible, but when they are deeply hurt, especially by someone they trusted, their natural reaction is to withdraw. They're not ones to lash out impulsively or engage in emotional outbursts. Instead, they prefer solitude to carefully analyze every detail. In those quiet moments, they ask themselves important questions. Why did this person act this way? How can I avoid this in the future? This introspective process allows them to connect the dots and learn from the situation, turning their emotional response into a path toward growth. This retreat into their own world may seem like a prolonged period of distance or even depression, but in reality, Sigma males are working through their emotions in a thoughtful and deliberate way. They can't simply let things go without first understanding the deeper reasons behind the conflict or betrayal. This kind of self-reflection can take hours, days, or even weeks, depending on the severity of the situation. During this time, they appear distant or unapproachable, not because they're sulking, but because they're methodically processing the experience. It's like watching a chess player consider every move. Sigmas won't make their next step until they fully understand all the variables. In modern life, this approach might be difficult for others to understand. In a world that encourages quick fixes and instant reactions, a Sigma male's need for introspection can be mistaken for emotional withdrawal. However, they know that rushing through their emotions will only lead to incomplete solutions or repeated mistakes. By retreating inward, they create a mental space that allows them not only to understand what went wrong, but to emerge stronger, having learned valuable lessons about themselves and others. They don't hold grudges or dwell in bitterness. Instead, they focus on finding clarity and personal growth. Consider a modern scenario where you've been deeply wronged by a close friend or colleague. While many people might react with immediate confrontation or cut ties without reflection, Sigma males take a different path. They step away, shutting out the external noise, and spend time analyzing the situation. This gives them the clarity to not only move on from the incident, but also to prevent it from happening again. It's not about avoiding people forever. It's about taking the necessary time to process emotions in a healthy, productive way. As Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote speaks directly to the Sigma male's method of handling anger. Instead of reacting impulsively, they carefully choose how to respond. By retreating into their own world, Sigma males ensure that they come back stronger and wiser. Their ability to turn painful experiences into lessons is a key part of their personal growth. This process of retreat, reflection, and re-emergence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a deliberate strategy for emotional resilience. Sigmas understand that taking time for introspection is essential for mental clarity and well-being, allowing them to navigate life's challenges with a level head and a clearer sense of purpose.